All right, so we're back to week four. Week four, we have several things that we got to get accomplished. We are going to be looking at chapter four this week. We have no questions this week for chapter four, but we are going to be looking at chapter four. Read that, and again, try your best to understand what they're speaking about in that chapter. Take a look at the lecture tab. I'm trying to remember if there is a set of videos for chapter four. I don't believe there are, but let's take a peek. Nope. Looks like I just have chapter four directions, and I have stuff in here about labor time, additional information. So where it comes from, how it's calculated, so on and so forth. So no video for chapter four from your textbook, but take a look at chapter four. Make sure you understand how that works. So I'm redoing the video here, so you see a video. I did a few changes here to this particular week. So one of the big things we want to do is we want to do a resume, cover letter, and thank you letter, and that's all going to be in the portfolio. So if you look down here, there's a portfolio prep module, and I want you to take that whole module. So there's going to be information in there, some quizzes as far as how do you make a cover letter, how do you make a resume, thank you letter, and of course we want to get references prepared as well. One key piece about references, and I know it's going to talk about it in there, is we want to use strong references. Your best reference is a boss, okay, or supervisor. Coworker would be next. After that, you would want to use somebody like a character reference, so like a preacher or a Boy Scout leader, or you volunteered for something, or you're a member of a club and whoever leads the club, something like that. That would be an okay reference, not the strongest reference. Your strongest, again, or somebody that supervised you as a worker, because you're trying to get a job. So they want to see that you will work and you'll show up to on time and all those kind of things. So your family members are never a good reference because they figure they're partial to you. They're going to say, of course they're a good worker because they're their family. They're not going to throw you under the bus. So family members, not a very good reference. So what I want you to do is I want you to go through and look at that information, learn how resumes are created, good quality resumes. One of the things you're going to use is you're going to use a resume creator, which is in my SMCC. So I give you some directions there on how to set your account up for that to create a portfolio in the SMCC system. I prefer you use that. You're going to use the particular one that I tell you there, banking and mortgage, because it's the one that fits our structure the best. You got to change a couple of things in there. If you want to go out and search for an automotive entry-level resume template and use that, that's fine. I'm not going to grade you. I'm not going to give you a 0 because you used a different format. That's fine. That's perfectly acceptable. So whatever you want to use, I do give you directions there on how to use that, because if you do use it in my SMCC, it'll be there for the entire time that you're a student, unless they change something. But as of right now, it's been that way for several years. So highly encourage you to use that template creator there. And all you got to do is plug your information in. I have information in there as to, a lot of you may say, well, I don't have any work experience. What do I put in here? So there's information in there on how to create a good resume based off the experiences that you have, projects that you did in high school, projects that you did wherever. Any kind of supervision kind of stuff that you did, any kind of maintenance that you had to be accountable for. You ran a lawnmower operation, remote lawns. You had to maintain that equipment. That's something you would highlight in your resume. So you just spin it up to gear it towards whatever job you're applying for. And for you guys, you're applying for an automotive entry-level job. And that's what we're trying to have you do. The cover letter highlights what is in your resume and how it fits a job, advertised job. So you may want to look on monster.com or jobsandme.com, one of those kind of websites for automotive jobs, and gear your cover letter towards that job. And it's what it's doing is it's creating something for you ahead of time, so that when you get to the point where you're going to apply for the job, you have something already created. You can just simply go in and change a few things, and it's ready to fire out the door. So we're doing work up front, so it saves you time in the future. Thank you letter, again, is a thank you letter designed for thanking the person that interviewed you. So service manager calls you up, says, hey, I want you to come in for an interview. You talk about something like, hey, I have I did work with my dad on a 1967 Chevelle. and the interviewer says, "Oh, no kidding, I had one of those when I was a kid," and da 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 da, and you hit it off with this conversation on it, you would want to bring that up in your thank you letter. Say, "Thank you for the interview. Really enjoyed talking to you about the possibility of getting hired at such and such company, XYZ Automotive. And, I really enjoyed talking about your experience with your 1967 Chevelle. Why do you want to do that?" Because they're going to forget who you are, quite honestly, because they're probably interviewing 10, 20, 30 people for that position. If you put something personal in there that from that interview, they're going to remember it. They're going to go, "Oh, yeah, that's the person. I really like them." So it's another way to kind of remind them of who you are. You're selling yourself. Okay, you're selling yourself through your resume, your cover letter. Your thank you letter is a follow up. It's a reminder of who you are and why you would benefit that company. All right? References, again, are people that they can contact to make sure that you are what you say you are. All right, so that's the portfolio. I don't think you guys will have too much trouble with it. This is our first draft. We're going to do this several times because in the past, I've had a lot of trouble with students creating a resume that was actually good. They were pretty terrible. So take your time with this. Submit something that's not a piece of junk. If it has an address and a phone number on it, that's not a resume. That's your address and phone number. So look at the information, read the information, create a resume that you can be proud of, something that I can be proud of. So again, it's the first draft. We're going to take some time. We're going to do this like 3 times through this course, but create the best you can create. If you have questions and you have good members in the class that can help you with this stuff, email them. Put something in the discussion board, the class questions. You can get help from other people. That's fine. Okay. You can also go over to the tutoring center, which is on campus, South Portland campus. We also have one over on the Brunswick campus, and there's tutors available to help you as well. So resumes are something that any English major, English instructor could help you with. So even if you have to go back to your high school instructor, they can help you with this resume as well. All right? So take your time, do a good job. Let's create something you can be proud of, something that's going to land you the job when you get to that point. All right, so that's enough on that. Let's look at the estimation activity. The estimation activity is you creating an estimation in Mitchell or in ProDemand. All right, I've given you a car to look up, I've given you a labor rate, and I've given you the job that you're going to be doing. So you are going to use ProDemand to create an estimate. Within ProDemand, there are settings for your shop. Make sure that the settings are correct, that it's $60 an hour. Somebody didn't go in there and change it to $100 an hour or $150, because that will make your answers incorrect. There is an attached file here, how to write an estimate. It's pretty interesting there. It does give you a little bit of information. You can take a peek at that as well. But again, I don't think you guys are going to have any trouble with this. Attach the copy of that estimate to this folder when you're all finished. Okay, now let's take a peek at the discussion board for this week. And we are in week 4. So if we look here at week 4 is discuss why an estimate is needed for your automotive customer. Why do we even bother with an estimate? What's the purpose? Think about what could happen if the estimate doesn't match the invoice charged to the customer. Okay, what could possibly happen? Good things, bad things? Are there any laws in Maine regarding automotive repair estimate? Okay, and where could you potentially find automotive laws in Maine? Well, Maine.gov is one place. The other place is your course resources. You may want to look in that folder and see if there's anything in there as far as laws. Otherwise, do a Google search. Automotive repair, state of Maine. And you'd be surprised how much you can find just by simply doing a search like that. All right, so let's pop back here and just make sure I didn't miss anything for week 4. I think that was everything. Again, the lecture folder, discussion board, estimation activity, and that should do it. All right, so good luck with week 4. Post any questions you may have in the discussion board area for class questions, or send me an email and I'll get back to you and let you know what it is that you are confused on. All right, have a great week.